Good afternoon, Roberta. How are you today?
I am fine, Chuck. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for joining me on the Q.A.C. team podcast.
Thank you
Let's
for
go ahead.
having me.
Oh,
Such a
absolutely.
pleasure.
Let's go ahead and get started and tell our audience more about who you are and what you do. I've been excited to hear this story.
Okay, Chuck, my name is Roberta Vigilance, and I've been in the sponsorship space for 25 years. What I do is help, whether it's entrepreneurs, small business owners, podcasters, event planners, nonprofit organization, anyone that is planning an event and they are seeking funding for that event, I help them secure sponsors for their events so that they can, one, offset the cost. So if someone is, let's say, working a 9 to 5 or has a limited budget that they cannot stretch to implement their event or enhance their event, that's where sponsorship comes in, and that's where a brand or a company or business or another type of entity will fund the event in exchange for receiving certain types of benefits. And my role is either to teach someone how to do it, this, or coach them, guide them through the process. Like, what is sponsorship? How do I contact a sponsor? Who's the right sponsors to contact? What do I put in my sponsorship proposal? They'll come to me, and I can even write the sponsorship proposal for them. I can review it, edit. So again, coaching them through the process, meeting them where they are, or also provide any advice. Like, Roberta, we don't need all of that. I just spoke with a sponsor. I just need some answers, or I need to know how do I get over this obstacle. Then I can provide that advice to
Yeah.
them. As far as a lot of people do come to me and say, well, do you do sell? Can you sell, my event? I have a great podcast or I have a great event. Can you sell that event to sponsor? And my answer is, it depends, because my industry standard to sell a sponsorship minimum, it starts at $10,000 to put in the work. But a lot of people, again, they don't, well, the ones who come to me, they don't have that type of budget. So they will say, can you work on commission? Get me the sponsorship and I'll get you the commission. And the answer is no, because I have to do the work up front. So we take the retainer plus commission. So bottom line is, I help them to get the funding through offering those services.
Right. That's great. So tell us a little bit about what drove you to decide to do this as a business. Give us a little bit of insight on that.
Absolutely. So, Chuck, here it is. I was planning an event. I was looking for money for that event. At that time, uh, I was working as an account exec. I have a long history in working in sales. I started as a teenager working at a supermarket, and from there, I continue on in sales. So at this point, I was selling website, and this was like in 1997, which website was pretty new. So I was selling
Yeah.
website. I returned to college to study small business marketing and management, um, for a recommendation of the owner of the company, who said, "Listen, Roberta, you should go back." So I did, and I was part of a school club. So while working, Chuck, as an account executive selling website, while returning to school, I also volunteered on this project. It was a celebrity project. So while doing that, I realized that, even let me go back a little further. While I was in school, I was part of a school club, and the students, they wanted to become models and singers, like rappers and singers, but they didn't want to sleep their way into the industry. So while I worked on the project, the celebrity calendar, I realized the celebrities are products made up by the managers and the makeup artists, like the movers and
Yeah,
shakers.
yeah,
Yeah, it was amazing.
yeah.
So what I did, I said, let me plan this event for the students. Here's a way, it's a brilliant way that you could get into the entertainment industry without having to sleep your way. Here, what I'm going to do is plan my first event, which was called the Entertainment Industry Network Seminar, where like they had people like producers, and actually one of them became a friend. Bootleg Lou, the group Full Force they wrote many songs, Backstreet Boys, Rihanna, etc., etc. But invited them to come out to the event. But here's the thing, because I'm jumping, before I was even able to implement that event, I needed money to implement it. I had no
Yeah.
experience in planning events. I had no money, or very a small amount, to plan the event, nothing to cover the cost. So I'm learning as I go. So to
As
get
most of us entrepreneurs do, right? That we're learning as we go.
learn as we go.
Yeah.
And so that's why people should really listen to us, because we took the bumps and the bruises, right? But
We're hitting that rocky road, right? Exactly.
yes, exactly. And I went into, to get the money that I was looking for to fund the events, I went into my community and asked the businesses there, and they all said yes. I was like, would you invest in my event in exchange for placing your business up close and personal with my target audience? So I target businesses that were targeting my audience.
Well,
All said yes. Then I went into corporate America, same thing. And they all said no. And it was like,
kind of like
why?
flip flop, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I have your audience. Why would you tell me no?
Why
But
then
that's
no?
because I was using the wrong language.
Mm,
It was not invest like I asked the businesses in my community. I wasn't looking to flip anyone's money and give them interest. I wasn't looking. So that's the term. Corporate America, the term, and where I learned sponsorship, the correct term is sponsorship. That's where I learned
so-
that at.
yeah.
So after I changed my language, after I changed the word invest to sponsor, that's when corporate America, the brands, they opened up to me and they said yes. And I was
Gotcha.
able to, yeah. So actually sponsorship found me as I was seeking money for my events.
Right. So let me ask you, Roberta. It's interesting that you hit it this at that angle. So why this industry? Why did you choose this? I'm really curious. This is really unique and such a niche thing, right?
It really is. I remained in sponsorship after, I learned, the language, because again, coming from the sales background, I knew how to write a sponsorship proposal. So I always offered value. I believe I'm selling something I believe in. Right? So I always offer value. I stayed in it for this amount of time because of what it did for me. I was able to implement events that I was passionate about. I was able to help different communities achieve their goals. I was able to help brands achieve their goals as well. So it works. If you don't
Yeah.
have the money, if you need more resource, like sponsorship is a great way to go. It's not a donation. You're not asking anyone for anything without return in value. It's a give and take. It's like a form of bartering, and that's what
Mhm.
I really love about sponsorship.
Yeah. So tell us some of the challenges that you faced when you started implementing this and getting this business off the ground.
You know what? The biggest challenge was definitely the language, not knowing it. Um, when you're speaking with today, sponsorship professionals, like those the ones who are savvy, like knowing the right wording is so important. So that was one challenge that I overcome. Um, another challenge. I can't even think of many challenges because I think my background in sales really helped in me being the person always wanting to provide value. And we're talking about, from the 90s and even currently. This is one of currently today's challenge. I'll tell you this because back then, Chuck, it was picking up the phone. It was walking into a business, right? So what happened after COVID, this simmered a lot. What happened prior to COVID, it was that email. When you send out an email to a sponsorship professional, like you get no one response.
Yeah.
No, you get no response at all. That part was very challenging. Another challenge was when you call the corporate brands, the person at the front desk, they don't know what you're asking for. Even though you call and say, "Can I speak to the sponsorship professional, the one who oversees sponsorship?" They will think that you are asking for a donation. So you end up in this black box or this black hole where all the messages go for donations. And it's like, no, this is like a marketing opportunity. So I need
Yeah.
to go there. So you have to know your stuff so you yourself can navigate through getting to
Right.
the right person. Yeah.
And sometimes they're
So
the gatekeeper, right? So when you call or you visit a place, their job is to keep you from getting where you have to go because that's what they're told. You fend all these salesmen off. We don't want to talk to anybody, right? And that was a big challenge.
absolutely, right. They're
Yeah,
just doing their job.
doing
So
their
you can
job.
help them. They're doing their job, but you can help them do their job more precisely, I guess,
Mhm.
um, by knowing your stuff and
Yeah,
helping them to understand where you are coming from so that you can have a meeting of the mind so you can end up where you need to end up as well. So yes,
right.
absolutely right. They are just doing their jobs, but they
Doing
need
their
some
job. Yep.
doing their jobs. They need some help
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the process that one would go to if we want to use you. What would it look like? What's the process?
Contacting me, say, "Hey, Roberta, I am looking to secure sponsors for my, let's say, my bakery launch. I have a new set of cupcakes that I want to launch, and it costs one thing. A lot of people believe it or not, Chuck. A lot of people don't know the pricing as well. Like, how much money do I ask for? So that's
Yeah.
another thing. But let's say the person knows, and they say to do this launch, it is $10,000, $5,000 to $10,000. Let's just say, Roberta, how do I get sponsorship? I want to know about this stuff. So they'll contact me, say something like that, and I'll reach out to them, find out, are you willing to learn? Is this something? Tell me how do you want to get from where you are to securing sponsors to getting that sponsorship? Do you
Right.
want me to navigate you? Do you want me to advise you? Do you want me to teach you, like, what it is? And then we decide what it is that we would like to do from there.
Gotcha. So kind of like a one-on-one, right?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
I need to understand what they're doing and how they want to achieve that goal.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've worked with bigger corporations as well, not just single entrepreneurs like myself, right? You've worked with bigger groups, right?
I've worked with corporations on the sponsorship side, like they are the sponsors,
Yeah.
like they sponsor the event, and I work with individuals and groups that are seeking sponsorship.
What a great niche. That's perfect because I know I can tell you several people that are in need of this, and I think it's great. I myself am looking to, that's why I want to talk to you. I'm really looking at this is really something I want, you know. So what are the expectations for you and your business in the next year or two?
In the next year or two, I would like to help a lot more businesses, a lot more individuals who are passion led. Like, I look at them as being the soldiers on the front line of their communities. They want to help with, things as poverty, wars, and even the ones who want to do the a new the launch a new product from the bake sale. Let's just say some people who are really passionate about what it is that they are doing. It doesn't always need to be something that plagues the community. It could be something fun. Maybe they want to do a fun birthday party for their 6-year-old or 16-year-old, just something great. Like my grandpa, for his, I believe it was his 99th or 100th birthday, I'm like, I'm
Wow.
not cooking any food. And I was raised in Guyana, South America. And what I did, I got a Guyanese restaurant to sponsor the food. And it was
Wow.
just great. And then it's in the senior home, which was like right around the corner from us. Another story. But people got to know, like, this is where you go and get your Guyanese food. So you know it's it does I want to help more. I just want to help more of those individuals who are passionate about what they are doing
Right. Growth,
and
right?
connect.
Growth. You're just looking for growth.
Or yeah, people who want to
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that, Chuck. People who want to grow and
Yeah.
connect them with the right brands. Make sure that
Right.
they have some great sponsorship partnerships with the right brands. I want to, so that's where I see my company in 2 years, training more individuals and having and getting the results that they are desiring or they need.
Yeah. It's like I have a quick question. I'm just curious. So would you be able to help with exposure? Like, would this give a business extra exposure by you doing these sponsorship programs for them?
It can, and that's where third parties come in. That's not my area of expertise. I am, a little tech challenge, so they do not
Oh
count on
yeah,
me. Do not rely
I
on
got
me
you.
for that. Yeah. So a third party, you will then bring in maybe an influencer who can help you market your event or your project or your program, your movie, podcast, whatever it is. If you're looking
Yeah.
for more eyeballs or listenership, you can hire a marketing company, put those costs in the budget, and that's the amount that you will go in addition to whatever else you need
Right.
covered,
Right.
whatever cost be covered.
Right. Because I was thinking, by doing what you do by proxy, right? You're sponsoring, you're getting sponsorships, they're collaborating, and then that would help with exposure because now you have eyes on this event, whatever it is. And take your example of the cupcake, your sponsorship, getting sponsorship for the cupcakes, that would put eyes on this event, which could lead to exposure, and that could really possibly make them go viral, and their business could blow up in a day, week, or a month.
Absolutely, which proves that with events and sponsors, communities do thrive. And I mean
Yeah.
communities meaning the sponsorship seeker, the sponsor, and the audience.
Mhm.
So you're absolutely correct. The sponsorship can be used for, you can get a marketing company to sponsor your your event, and you just have to be strategic in the type of value you will return to that marketing company as well.
Yeah.
If
And if
you're
you could
if you're
show what the
interested.
return on their investment is, right? That's the key, right? Showing the return on the investment of what they're going to put in. That's
As
key.
well as return on objective. It doesn't always have to be um, a ROI can also be a profit. A lot of people confuse ROI with profit, but
Yeah.
also when we're talking about the ROO, it's a sponsor. In the case of Tommy Hilfiger, who's one of my event sponsor, in his case, his ROO was to put a rumor to rest. So it wasn't to necessarily increase the sales. The first thing was damage control, right? There's a rumor
Very
out there,
strategic.
being very strategic,
Very strategic.
right? So there are different benefits that you can return and value that you can return to a sponsor.
Yeah. That is great. Now, great segue into the end of this is how do we reach out to you? How do we contact you? What if we're excited and we want to use your service to really help us find these sponsors? Because this is awesome.
Absolutely. And also I have a book as well, just to see my mindset and where it goes. Where how it goes through the sponsorship process and system. And you'll find the links to the book as well. The same place you can find me, which is on my website at my first and last name.com. So that's robertavigilance.com.
That's great. That's great. So anything you want to add before we end up here?
I just would like to thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity. I went to a few of your links. You have a great show. You have great guests.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Appreciate that.
including.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, last question I have is: do you have anything like to offer a discount to our audience?
Absolutely. They mention your name and they can get 20% off of any service that I
Great.
provide.
That's all. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Roberta, thanks again for coming on and joining me on the podcast. This has been great. I'd love to hear your story. I'm really interested in what you're doing, and your website is great. Looking around at everything you offer, and your book is on my list to purchase. I want to learn more. As our
Thank
audience
you.
should do the same thing. Thanks again, Roberta, for coming on. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Chuck. You too.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at QACteam.com, TikTok at Q.A.C. Team, Facebook and Instagram at QAC.team. Thanks for your support.